Good morning. This is Maria Quattrone with Be the Solution podcast, and welcome my guest, Marki Lemons-Ryhal. Marki!
What's going on this morning? How is everyone doing? It is a sunny day, and I'm from Chicago, so I'm elated to have some sun, and the 6 feet of snow is officially melted.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're here in Philadelphia with some sun and 27 degrees, but I'll take the sun because we need the vitamin D.
Oh, yes, I need the vitamin D. Need a little color right about this time, but it's coming.
Yeah. Well, I'm very excited to talk with you this morning, Marki, and
Thank you.
hear your journey and how you've mastered this social media and how you got started. And yeah, it's exciting.
Thank you for having me. And it has been a journey. I am a Chicago native, born and raised here on the Chicago South Side. My family owns Chicago's second oldest Black restaurant. We have sold more pork rib tips than anyone else in the city.
Yum.
So I'm a part of a landmark, official landmark. Celebrities, they come, they eat at our establishment. It's a dive. However, we've sold more pork rib tips than anybody else in the history of the city of Chicago.
What's it called?
It's Lem's Barbecue. So if you take my last name and take the O-N out, Lem's.
Oh,
yeah. So here's what's interesting. There's a picture of Lem's Barbecue in every famous Dave's barbecue restaurant across the country, because when they were getting started in the barbecue business, they consulted with my grandfather. And my grandfather came from a concept that competition is healthy for business, that you should help your competitors because it'll make you better. And I would say that he knew exactly what he was talking about, because he came from Mississippi with absolutely nothing, one pair of shoes with holes in them, and he died a multimillionaire, and he took care of his children, his grandchildren, and provided for his great-grandchildren. So he was on to something. So any business wisdom he passed down to me, then I take heed to that wisdom. So I was born and raised in the restaurant business, undergrad in hospitality management, MBA degree, taught on a collegiate level at the age of 25. Well, fast forward, I get sued by my family. My father's sister sued me for the trademark right to Lem's because I owned it. I, in order to protect myself, needed to countersue my family. And so we went through a very bitter lawsuit. They had to buy me out of the restaurant business in order to obtain the trademark right. Well, while we were going through the lawsuit, I wasn't a single mom. I was an unwedded mother, and my son had become accustomed to a certain lifestyle. And with that lifestyle, I needed to be able to duplicate that. So I said, I want to do something where I can make an above average income, yet feel like a stay-at-home mom. And I became a licensed loan originator. And I got burned out maybe about 3 years later. And I decided that I could be a loan originator, a pharmaceutical sales rep, and I earned my real estate broker's license. I was in farm sales for 2 years in this overlap, and I absolutely hated it. So on September 3rd, 2003, I quit my job and I came into real estate full time. That December of 2003, I had earned over $24,000 in gross closed income. I was hooked, because it would have taken me 10 years to make that amount of money per month in pharmaceutical sales. In 2004, I was in the top 10% of realtors in the city of Chicago, and I have the coveted Carly Award, okay? So I received sales awards for 2004, 2005, 2006. In 2006, I went on the board of directors for the Chicago Association of Realtors. I became a licensed CE instructor and a licensed pre-licensed instructor. And that was the beginning of my real estate education career. I've been focused on real estate education now ever since 2006. The foundation is the fact that I do have an advanced degree. I had already taught on a collegiate level. And over time, I now have over 60 real estate related licenses, designations, and certifications. Just got my 61st, which was at home with diversity this past week. So you're the first to hear the 61st.
Wow. That's a lot of certifications.
It is. It really is. And a lot of them I teach, and those that don't fit what I want to fit, right, then I've taken those off. So things like the SRES, because my preferred communication style is not that of a senior, even though I'm 50 and I will soon will be a senior. That's not my preferred communication style. And I believe you should communicate with people the way that they desire to be communicated with if you want them to hear you. So with that being said, green. So it's a lot of them that I had that I don't use. But because I've taught so many of the designations and certifications for NAR, oftentimes I'm getting them in order to teach. So yeah, 60. And here's the thing, I teach continuing education in 46 states. So a lot of those are licenses, not necessarily a certification or a designation, so that I can teach continuing education courses.
How many states are you licensed in?
I'm licensed as a real estate agent in 2 states, but then in 46 states, I teach continuing education.
How
And
do you get that license to teach the continuing education?
So it started with Illinois, and generally, if you're licensed in one state, when you go to do another application, they will accept the Illinois license. And I'm also, one of the things that gives me the ability to teach in so many states is CDEI. So I'm a certified distance education instructor through Arello. I have taught virtually everywhere. However, I've personally stepped foot in 46 states. And yesterday I taught continuing education in Idaho, and then Washington State, and then we got Arizona. Like, these are just the recent ones, in New Jersey. And so having the real estate licenses and having the degrees are often the foundation to have the credentials to teach in the states. And people like to be able to offer CE for their courses. So how did I get on the national circuit? I had a course, the ADPR, the Accredited Distressed Property Representative. I was the queen of foreclosures, and I picked up social media and technology in order to promote the foreclosure and short sale classes. And in 2012, after I had lost everything financially, my mind was still intact, but financially I lost everything through the real estate crash. I had to make a decision because my money was funny, my energy was zapped, and I did not have enough time to date my husband. And so I wanted to know what was life going to be about. You know, I put in a lot of hard work. I had the credentials, I have the work ethic, and I came to a conclusion that I was doing too many things. And so I decided that I would focus solely on the social media and technology classes. And it was a little rough in the beginning because I was preaching to the choir, things that they weren't ready for, didn't want to hear, and didn't believe in. And every single year since 2012, things have gotten a lot better. When we came in for quarantine here in the state of Illinois, I had a video I had created 4 years ago, how to do a mock Facebook Live open house. Been on YouTube, a couple of hundred people had watched it. Within like 30 days, thousands of people had watched this video.
Wow.
Yeah. So when I shared it back in 4 years ago, it wasn't relevant to people, but it was relevant now. And so I encourage people that what you're talking about might not be relevant now. It doesn't mean that you don't master the skill set, because a couple of fantastic, phenomenal things did happen in 2020. I told you earlier, I've published 23 publications, and those 23 publications, 4 are international bestsellers. But let me correct myself. One of those bestsellers, I'm a contributor to. I wrote chapter 2 for Secrets of Top Selling Agents with Homes.com, because I'm the 3rd secret speaker in the history of secret speakers. So Homes.com. The other ones I published. And so that was pretty good. And of those, 22 are authored. So 22 are authored, 23 I published. And I published one for my cousin that became number 4 in African American Studies, which is a coffee table book. I also developed a clothing line. And the last 9 days of 2020 did a membership launch that earned us $128,000 in 9 days with no ad spend. So
what was that for?
That is for six figures in 12 months. So I have my own membership group, and it's an annual membership, and we'll grow to about 1,300 members this year. But my coach told me to do it. And so the last 9 days of, yeah, I know it. Let me tell you this. I still am like, are you kidding me? Because it's changed my life. So 6 Figures in 12 Months is a membership group where I work with realtors exclusively on how to get to 6 figures in 12 months. One of the ways to do that is you need to add 2,880 contacts to your customer relationship management system, and you need to nurture them and work them.
Okay.
If not,
2,800?
2,880.
Okay. How'd you come up with that number?
So there's a mathematical calculation that shows if you add this amount of people, how many people will schedule an appointment, how many people will close. So that 2,880 gets you actually to 20 closed transactions if your average price point is $250,000. Now, we know there's no average standard or set numbers in our industry. So if you co-op at this amount, if your split is this amount, then you can get to that $100,000. So I'm teaching them the strategies to get to $100,000, not doing the things that people preach to them that they have to do. And here's why. So we launched these books. We got 4 international bestsellers. We launched a successful clothing line. We get passive income from it. Actually, I have 9 sources of income. We do this launch. Launch is successful. But I also raised $50,000 for the 77, the diversity committee of the Chicago Association of Realtors, with 1 Facebook Live video. I also raised close to $6,000 for the Marki Lemons Education Advancement Scholarship with 2 Facebook Live videos. And so I practice what I preach. I know social media and technology works, and I have an intimate relationship with realtors and with the south side of the city of Chicago, where I've not spent any money on an ad since November of 2019. So 2020, in the midst of a pandemic, 100% ad free. And I'm raising money, giving away scholarships, launching books, a clothing line, and a membership site. I just needed to be laser beam focused and stay consistent with my social media and technology.
Marki, whoa. That is like a lot of stuff to unpack.
It is.
There's, okay, so let's go back. You have 9 sources of business.
I have 9 sources of income, yes.
Okay, so let's start with that. What are the 9 sources of income? Because I know everybody wants to know.
Yeah. So I'm grandfathered in, and I just want people to know this. So 2 come from broker structures, right? So I get profit share and I get a residual income. I'll always get a profit share because I'm grandfathered in before that franchise decided to change its model. I get KDP, Kindle Print on Demand. I'm an Amazon influencer. I have Amazon merch. I get royalty checks. So royalty checks come from the publisher of my very first book, which is the only book that has been published somebody else. And then I also, my books are like in the Realtor bookstore, they're Ingram Spark, so royalty checks, multiple royalty checks. Redbubble is a place that I sell my Marki merch on, so Redbubble income. I'll do 250 virtual events this year. I did 125 last year. My virtual events replaced my face-to-face events. So I was, and now I say it, I can say it as a year has passed. I was officially unemployed on Friday, March the 13th, 2020, because all of the face-to-face events dried up, because what I am is a real estate keynote speaker. And I would have spent 100 nights in 2020 on the road, going from real estate event to real estate event for real estate associations, banks, title companies, franchises, the Women's Council, and the Residential Real Estate Council. So my face-to-face events, I had to replace them with virtual events, and we'll do 250 virtual events this year. Now, I know that sounds crazy, but let me say this, my virtual events tend to average an hour. So yesterday I had 3 virtual events. Okay, that's how I'm gonna get this 250 done. And then I had the membership group that will grow to 1,250 members. So this year, 2020, in the midst of a pandemic, I decided that I was going to emerge better. So I sat still. And through sitting still, I was able to generate all these other streams of income that I always had wanted to generate, but never realized I did not have the time to do so. Everything that I do is in the world of real estate. So if we looked at my t-shirts and my clothing line, I'm 100%, I'm catered on real estate professionals. Everything I do is in the world of real estate. I understand my avatar or the persona of my clients. 73 to 78% of my audience, contingent upon the platform, is female. They're 35 to 54. They tend to have attended college. They have a child or pet, right? One or the other, sometimes both. They've been married. And so I am my avatar, right? And I share the same pain points that they share. So understanding my avatar or the persona of my clients allows me to talk to people the way that they want to be talked to about things that are resonating with them. That is how I've had the success, and I'm consistent. So I'm here with you today. I have other like 4 or 5 other events right today that are going to be virtual events. So it also helps to expand that digital footprint. Oh, so we got the virtual event, and then we had the membership site. So I had to go write them down, right? Just to make sure. Let's go over here to the camera, just to make sure that I knew them all. So I'm a little. I'm gonna tell you what I'm mad about. It's not 10. That's what I'm mad about. How I'm gonna get to 9? So I'm gonna have to work on that. It should be 10 on that sheet of paper. Yeah. Why didn't you give me one more?
All fingers. One finger left. So, Marki, you mentioned to me that your coach told you to start this. So you have a coach. Who do you coach with?
So the coach who told me to do it would not let me hire him. And so imagine, right? Yes. I didn't like his pricing. And so I told him that I needed more time to try to do things on my own. I slept on it. I came back the next day. He told me it would be no for a one-on-one relationship, but if it was him, this is what he would do. Okay, so I didn't know if he was punking me or what. Okay, but he gave me the advice on how to do it. But my coach right now is Danielle Leslie. Danielle Leslie owns Course from Scratch. She did $10 million in volume in 2020 with online courses. And I'm in her Course Alchemy, which is her highest, her private intimate group. So yes, I do have one. And I have weekly clarity calls, and we have a tech session, and every single week there's like 5 things that I get to do with this phenomenal woman who is coaching me up. So there are a lot of other things that I'm implementing this year, but my focus has pivoted to just really nurturing the membership group and growing the membership group, because essentially I can work from anywhere in the world.
Right.
And just love on this, 1,250 people and make as much money as I desire to make with all these other sources of income.
It's great. You took a real estate career where you were selling real estate and then segued that into speaking events. You were on the road 120 nights.
100
nights.
Right. And we pivoted to 125. It is a lot. And I'm married and I have 2 children. I concentrate on solutions and not on the problem. So when I leave home, I do have a part-time nanny. If I hit the front door to leave, he hits the front door to come. Because what cannot happen is I cannot have any disruption to my house or to my youngest son's schedule. My oldest son is 24. He's a college graduate. He is a consultant at Accenture. He's a licensed real estate broker and a realtor member. So I think I've done a good job. And I'm in tune, but I don't hover. Yeah, and I know that sounds crazy. I think that my youngest son, I would check in to see how he felt about me not being here. And he basically told me, a couple of nights a week, he's okay. That 4th night, he said he struggles if I'm gone for a night. But he was having so much fun because the nanny, the attention is all about him. I'm not nearly as attentive as the nanny is. And so when you come home and your child doesn't miss you and you fun, you like, okay, you good. And I just, like my feelings weren't hurt. I did a good job in the selection process. And this kid is doing good. He's excelling and he has someone who gives them undivided attention. What I did not realize is how the nanny had come in and kind of orchestrated and mellowed out the house. So when I came back home, I had to get the house back on mellow because he had done a fabulous job. And so, and my husband's a locomotive engineer for Union Pacific Railroad. So and Austin will be 14 soon. So it's an interesting dynamic because normally women do not leave their homes that much, and then they tend to feel some amount of guilt for doing so. Yeah, I'm not feeling guilty. And when the world opens back up, 2022, I will be back on the road. No, I don't.
It's interesting though, because it's giving you the ability to pause, sit still, and then develop all these other opportunities, which you probably never would have been able to do. At least maybe over the next decade you would have, but not in the amount of time that you've done that. So it's March 13, 2020. And what the heck is going on in your head?
It's March 13th, 2020. Let me line you up for this. The 2 weeks up to this period of time, I'm listening to the news. However, I'm disconnected from the news. My mentality is I got a job to do, and I don't allow things to interfere or throw me mentally off. So I had gone from Chicago to social media marketing world in San Diego, back to Chicago to do an afternoon event, to get on a plane the very next day to go back to LA, back to Chicago with a few days off. Now, here's the week of. I leave Chicago. I go to Seattle, Washington. Okay, now Seattle, Washington had cases. All right, but I'm flying into Seattle, Washington. The difference in the airport, the day I flew into Seattle versus the next day when I flew out. The day I flew in, it was packed. That next day, which was the 12th, that I flew out, it was no one in the freaking airport. So I'm taking heed, but I still got another event to do. I got to go to DC, and I had 3 events on the 12th in DC. So let me say this, on the 11th in Seattle. So the evening of the 11th, I fly into Washington, DC. I have 3 events the next day. And this is like an overnight flight because I'm doing what I normally do. Put things together, and I can work tired because I'm still thinking with the end in mind. I'm getting these text message and emails, and I'm seeing postpone, canceled, reschedule, postpone, canceled, reschedule. So I'm taking it in, but I'm not digesting it, right? Because I got all day events. I do my 3 events. I get on the last flight from DC to Chicago. I kind of sit in the plane, and I'm getting my thoughts together. And my flight lands in Chicago because it's delayed at 1:30 a.m. on the 13th. And I in the car on the way home, I'm just sitting there looking. I'm like, your life as you knew it is over. That's all I can say to myself. And I slept for 48 hours because I realized I wasn't going anywhere the next week. I got up that Monday morning and I looked at who was canceling, and I took those initial flights off. By the end of that month, every flight for the duration of the year had been canceled and stored. Every hotel accommodation, everything, including the fact that I was supposed to go to Barcelona for my 50th birthday. So I'm talking to my husband. He like, well, we need to wait to see if they're going to cancel so we can get a full refund. I was like, okay. And I then Netflixed for 2 weeks. Okay. So there's only so much freaking Netflixing you could do. So once I have rested, I realized my life as I knew it was over. I checked my bank accounts and I realized I could stay at home for 2 years. So I learned that lesson from the real estate crash.
That's right.
You can't have enough money, right? I went and got additional credit card from Navy Federal Credit. So I'm a part of 2 credit unions, the Realtor Credit Union that went over to Northwest, and then also the Navy Federal. And so I said, okay, give me some credit. I woke up from my whole Netflix binge and I sat on the side of the bed and I told myself, I said, Marki, you got a decision to make. You could sit here and do nothing, or you can emerge better. I got up. I started a class that evening on how to create your own journals and books. I'm 23 books later. I developed a whole clothing line, opened a Shopify store, raised money, donated money. I mean, you name it. But it was those 2 words, emerge better. And I had a long to-do list coming into the pandemic. I refused to go back out on the road with that same to-do list. And so now things are churning. We launched the virtual social certified leader with the Women's Council. Carrie Little and I, we wrote that. Yes, we are. Yep, we are in a new partnership with another, because we haven't officially announced, with another entity under the National Association of Realtors. We have the clothing line Markis merch over at All Things Real Estate. That's because I can sit.
Right.
So, right, I can sit. So next year, I do plan to go back on the road. I could probably scrutinize my jobs a little more. I wasn't scrutinizing them at first. I can scrutinize them now. And here's the joy. I'm not going to have to go back on the road. Like, I can stay. I make more than enough money to take care of what I need to take care of. I got a good husband. I got more than enough money. But I've never been one who just wanted more than enough. I want the best and I want to excel, and I'm just getting started is the way I like. I'm ground zero right now, right? Because I did not have a job on Friday, March the 13th, 2020. So we ground zero. And I'm like, oh, girl, you done started all over. You had to pivot yourself. You killing it. What's next? And I'm saying it might be on the road. I might be one of the speakers who decide we're going to always have virtual events moving forward. So maybe I just stay at home and become this extraordinary virtual person, right? I'm not 100% there, but I am. We have started to book face-to-face events. We'll do our first one in New Mexico in June. We have one in Kentucky.
Who's the New Mexico event with?
The New Mexico Association of Realtors.
Okay.
So I tend to work for a lot of the state associations at their conferences, whether spring or fall. And then the next one is the Kentucky Association of Realtors. And now people clarify, you do know we want this to be face-to-face. So we have started to put face-to-face event on the calendar, book those and everything. So I'm optimistic. What's going to be different moving forward is I'll have a child in high school. And how am I? Either I'm going to have to do it or I'm going to have to pay somebody to do it. I need people to pop up at school. No, I'm serious. I'm dead. It works like a charm. I need his head to rotate like it's coming up off his shoulders because he think he saw his mama over in the corner. It keeps down a lot of nonsense. So if I don't do it, I'm going to get me to do it. That's going to go pop up in the middle of the day. So he can be like, you know how they do that. That's what I want. Keep me in check.
Keep him on his toes. You got to keep him on his toes. So, Marki, I love your energy, which is why I invited you onto the podcast. And we had talked earlier how I saw you at Inman around 5 years ago, and I just thought you were a rock star, and I knew that you would be going to a lot of places. I want to ask you a question. Your attitude and your mental fortitude and your willingness and desire and your grit, how was that instilled in you as a young person?
So, kind of interesting story. So I told you about the barbecue business. I come from an entrepreneurial family, but my parents were both the black sheeps of their families. My parents were teen unwedded parents. Both of them my father essentially was always a drug addict. My mother started using drugs when I turned 18 and went away to college. In 1988, my grandmother died, my great-grandmother died, and I went away to college. And I came home to a different person. With that being said, my mother was and she died in 2006 from a brain aneurysm. But I looked at my mother. We were raised together, essentially, right? Like she's growing while raising me. And my mother was my number one ally, my number one advocate. She feels as though I was her greatest contribution to this world. She was very vested in me, which might be also contributed to why once I went away to school, she felt like she had met her accomplishment or there was a sense of a void, right, in her life. And so my mother started the Yellow Wagon concession stand in 1982. My mother had a food truck when I was 12 years old. I, went to private school, got a car at 16. I lived in Europe as a foreign exchange student. This is because my mother supported and encouraged that. I was not going to college. I was going to be a hairstylist. When I tell you, I thought my mama was going to beat me on the corner. She was like, I have not worked this hard. I have not made these sacrifices. I have not sent you to private school in order for you to not go to college. And she took all my worldly possessions from me. She took my television, my house telephone, and my car. And when I tell you I like to die, especially the car, you take a car from a 16-year-old and I'm experiencing freedom. Oh, I'm going to die. How could you do this to me? So she gave me back everything the next day. And she told me, she basically said, you ain't going to be nothing. You're going to have to struggle the rest of your life if you don't go to school. And I begrudgingly told her, I said, and I'm still crying. I'm still sniffling from her taking my stuff. I said, I'm going to go to college. I'm not going to like it. And I'm going to come back home. And I went to Central State University, a historic Black college. And when I stepped foot on that campus and I saw all them fine brothers, I said, who don't go to college? And I instantly realized college is a place, and it's the only time in life where you can be grown on someone else's dime. So once I realized I could be grown on someone else's dime, right? I'm like, this is the life. I was an absolute idiot. Now, imagine I'm looking at all these fine men, and who don't do this, right? So here's what's funny. They forced me to go to college. I was graduated from grad school the same week that I had my oldest son. I'm getting ready to go get a PhD. My granddaddy told me, Marki, it stops now. And I said, well, what do you mean? You all told me as long as I went to school, you would take care of me. He says, no, baby, I didn't know you was going to become a professional student. He says, you are smart and you are armed with 2 degrees. It is time for you to go and get yourself a real job. And so being with my mother, seeing her strength, her endurance, and the fact that at the time that she died, she had overcome drug addiction, 5 stints in drug rehab. It was my encouragement. It is my possibility. I actually keep with me a bag of mustard seeds. And these ain't no ordinary mustard seeds. These whole food mustard seeds, right? Because my mother told me to always have the faith of a mustard seed. When it came time for me to quit Pfizer and really come back into the world of real estate, it was hard. Like, I'm like, Mom, I'm an unwedded mother. I'm making 6 figures. I got a $45,000 a year expense account, nice little American Express. It's swipe and work everywhere because it's a Pfizer card. I have a company car. I'm like, who quits? Like, who does? First of all, it's hard enough to get the dang on job. Who does that? And my mother was like, Marki, you can always go get another job. So my mother, 100%, followed by my grandfather. But my mother, probably because I feel like we were raised together. She was my best friend in life. And then my grandfather, because I was with them every day. We were in business together. So I saw my mother and my grandfather every day, even in adulthood. Yeah. Yeah.
It all starts when we're young.
Oh, most definitely. And I've been self-employed since the age of 10. I had to sell snowballs in front of the barbecue restaurant because I asked for one too many pair of designer pants. I don't know if you remember. You might not be old enough. Sassoon, Jordache, Gloria Vanderbilt, Calvin Klein. I had the whole list. And my mother was like, how much those pants cost? I said, oh, they're about $40 a piece. She said, girl, you don't have underwear. You don't have bra. You don't have none of that. You don't have your umbrella. You don't have your raincoat on this list. And so all you going to wear are designer jeans? She said, it's time for you to go make your own money. She said, and you're going to take care of your needs before you take care of your wants. And I've been working these from a 17-year-old mother. So my mother was cold. Her parenting game, she was cold. She just that when I was 18, she did a dumb thing. And they say that 1 is too many, 1,000 is never enough. And she got caught up in that for 15 years.
Oh, dear.
You wasn't ready for that today.
I already had like multiple tears from our conversation because of a lot of things that you said, and it's drawn a lot of emotion. And, you know, I love the transparency because I'm the same way of being that transparent, but you definitely are another level of transparency. And I think it's amazing. And I think your success is because you're you.
Thank
And
you.
you have accepted who you are, and you do you, and you be you, and you bring it, period. And I think that if more people were them and brought their authentic self out, that they would be more successful. I'm curious, what are in your new class, how did you make 6 figures in 12 months? What are some of the things that you talk about with the real estate agents to get them into this mindset?
So I actually use a couple of new examples. I have 20 agents that I've recruited, and of those 20 agents, 2 of them we got to 6 figures in 12 months. I believe that every agent needs a business plan, and from that business plan, they create their marketing plan, and from that marketing plan, they have a social media plan. And each plan comes right back to the business plan. But in that social media strategy, it is live streaming video. So when I look at Cassandra Sneed, she was a 17-year-old unwedded mother getting $286 a month on public assistance. 2020 was her first full-time year in the business. In the month of September, she had her first $1 million month. She made more in the month of September than she would have made 7 years on public assistance at $286 per month. What does Cassandra Sneed do? Cassandra Sneed leverages social media and technology every day with no ad spend, and she creates an abundance of video. I actually have older agents, more seniored licensees, not older, seniored licensed agencies. And they're jealous of Cassandra because it's like, where's Miss Cass? And she does it with a voice, where's Miss Cass? And then there's Nicole Wheatley. Nicole Wheatley's first full-time year was 2019. She closed $142,000 in gross closed income. She's implementing the same process. And so, one, starting with a business plan. When I came into real estate, and look, and no, I didn't know nothing. I didn't know bumpkins, right? And did $12 million my first year is because I had a business plan. So oftentimes we know real estate agents, they do not have entrepreneurship training. They're not entrepreneurs, right? And we don't provide entrepreneurship training. I was an entrepreneur. So I understood, and to tell you the deepness, I had an MBA degree. I had taught on the collegiate level. But in 1999, when I was getting ready to bring our barbecue sauce, our meat rub, and our hot links to the market, Earther and Cousin, who was a part of past President Obama's. She was over his not foreign aid ministry, but she worked in Africa with his food. She was a part of his cabinet. That's what I was looking for. She had given me shelf space at Jewel's, which is a local grocery store here in the Midwest area. And at that time, I went back to go through a program called the Women Self-Employment Project, because what I realized was, even though I had an MBA degree, it did not teach me how to start up a company. It taught me how to take over an existing company, how to come in and run things. But it didn't tell me about market research and that statistics class I would really need it, because I needed to understand the probability of something occurring. Mm-hmm. And so I'm bringing the MBA, the Women Self-Employment Project. I've been self-employed for 40 years. God, that sounds long. I've been self-employed for 40 years. All of that is coming into this program. And what I realized, and I didn't realize it at first, but I realize it now that we're almost 2 months in. We're 2 months into this. Being in real estate is lonely, right? And 80% of the organizations are going to be small to medium companies. There is not a lot of hand holding, not a lot of, strokes on the back, not a lot of motivation. I decided that I needed to infuse that into my group, because I realized that 70% of everything that I do is female dominated. And unless these women are top producers, they are not receiving any recognition for their work. That agent who just does a couple of deals a year, they're often overlooked. They don't receive any praise or anything. And so now I'm publicly acknowledging people who have never been acknowledged before for their work. Because here's the thing, they already paid me. So whether you close a deal or not, right? It wouldn't matter. But when I see that they're doing something, I am acknowledging them. So one of the things we do is a hot seat. The young lady from the first they get to put me in a seat for an hour and ask me anything they want to ask me. And when I tell you, they lit my butt up. But we also grew that first person. We grew her Instagram account by, I think, over 250 people in one night. All of that makes a person feel good and empowered. So I wasn't planning for the whole mindset empowering aspect. But now that I realize that that's what people need, then I'm bringing it because I want to have the most successful membership site. So it's the foundation of a business plan, a marketing plan, a business plan. We've done Instagram, we've done landing pages, we've done Canva classes. We just did a Reels class the other night. So every single month, they receive a master class, a group coaching, the hot seat, a competition to win the hot seat, and 4 tutorials per month. And we swap those out for other like-minded events. So I'm touching them and interacting with them weekly, but almost daily, because we also have a private Facebook group for the membership site.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
So that's a lot that you're offering. And
it is.
You're going to have a lot of very successful students coming out of that. Yeah. So it's a yearly, right? A yearly membership?
It's a monthly. Well, let me say this. We have our founding members. They pay yearly because they got that, that one-time low fee. Yeah, but everybody else is monthly and they can unsubscribe. But we have music at our trainings. Like, we are having a lot of fun, and we're
having a party.
Yeah, we're having a party. We are. I bring them the best music. The other night we had Money, Money, Money. That song, Money, 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 Money. Money. And then I had a few dollars. I put them in my hand, and we make it, bands that make you dance. So we have a lot of fun, but the education is solid. Period. I'm bringing them the best in education. And because I'm in a high fee course with Danielle Leslie, one of the top at the game, when she implements something, I bring it back to the group. So I'm clear. I'm building the best. And I work for everybody. So they're getting the education that everyone else gets. And what's funny, and we won't be mentioned, I work for Remax. I work for Berkshire Hathaway. I work for Weicker. I work for Realogy. I work for everyone. And a lot of people ask me all the time, well, Marki, you're with so-and-so. Yes, I am. I said, but I don't teach proprietary information. I teach social media and technology. And I'm the best at social media and technology, probably because of the transparency, the fact that I'm not fearful of video, the fact that I create video content every single day. So for me, you got to have those receipts, right? And I got receipts. If I tell you I'm doing it, I got a receipt for it. Because here's what's funny. I'm going to get the receipt before I tell you I did it. I'm not going to go look for the receipt to prove to you I did it. Once I see the receipt through something, sliding through the DM or something, I look at it. I'm like, oh, you did do that. Okay, now you can go. You got the receipt, secure the receipt, and then go and let the world know.
So how much content is too much content?
I have too much content. Let me tell you why I have too much content. Because you and I, we have some of the same philosophies. The reason I have too much content is because I am creating video content. That means that I have the ability to repurpose content into 240 different elements that I so desire. What people don't understand is that video is the only content that you can repurpose without recreating it. So from a video, you can get a podcast, you can get a blog post, you can get email marketing, you can get photo quotes, you can get captions, you can get audiograms, you get your Alexa flash briefings, you get your Google Play, your Stitcher, your Spotify, your SoundCloud. You get all of that from one video. So I have too much content already, but that doesn't mean I stopped creating content. right? So now the question for me really is, how do I bring someone in to repurpose? How many other ways can we distribute the existing content in order to bring more visibility, because we're going to create video content? And so what I would say, I don't believe anyone, because people pay a whole lot of money for content. I don't think there's a such thing as too much content. There is a such thing as too much posting. Okay. I like to hit everybody at least once a day.
With the videos.
With videos, with a blog post, but I'm going to hit you with one piece of content on every single platform once per day, at least. Some platforms, if you're doing stories, I think that you should do 4. The reason is I believe everybody should have a minimum of 60 seconds or 1 minute of content per day. Most of these platforms, your stories are running 15 seconds-ish. And so 1 minute of content per day on platforms. And the reason I'm going with video is because 1 minute of video content is equivalent to 1.8 million words. Right? So, and so I have to show up for video every day, because I'm telling realtors to show up for video every single day. And some of these filters are so cute. Put a filter on it if you don't like what it looked like, but create the content. So I don't think there's too much content. And if it was, I already got too much. But I do believe there's too much posting.
So how many different sites should a real estate agent be posting on?
I think it's contingent upon who their avatar, the persona of their client. I'm going to tell you a minimum of 2. And let me say this, a minimum of 2, and they should not all be Facebook owned, because Facebook has gone down in the past. And the reason we know it is because everybody's over on Twitter complaining. You start with your client and you hang out on the platform that resonates the most with you. So let me come back. You start with the client. It's all about where your client's hanging out.
The avatars.
Yeah, the avatar, the persona. It's all about that. Then if you have 5 different platforms, you decide that one platform that you like, because you're more likely to be committed and to be consistent. Okay. So when I'm thinking about platforms, I'm always thinking about my avatar. Here's a true story to kind of sum this up for you. I have these nice little luggage tags. A gentleman by the name of Andy bought them for me. Now, it's what's on the back of the luggage tag, 9/25/2033. This is the day that I will be financially eligible for retirement. Not because I've done a good job at investing or anything, but I'll be 63 years old. I am married to a locomotive engineer. I am the first wife, and I am vested. This is the day that I'm going to get my first railroad pension, spousal funded. Let me say that again. Spousal funded pension plan check. All right. So financially eligible. And people joke, I'm with my husband because I really like him, because I'm already vested. I can leave Stephen the day of tomorrow. And this, all I got to do is breathe. So with that being said, I know you trying like, well, how does this tie into the story? So people like, well, TikTok. I don't need TikTok. I don't need the TikTok audience to retire on this day, not to retire successfully. So I'm not going, TikTok is not my audience. 70% of my audience is female. They're 35 to 54. And actually they're 35 to 44, followed by 45 to 54. And there's only like a 1 to 2% difference in those 2 age brackets. I just need to be grown and hang out with women my own age. I need to be where women are that are 35 to 54, because that's my sweet spot, and I already know it. I don't need to go over to TikTok. I don't even need a Snapchat strategy for who I'm trying to attract. Now, my son, the 24-year-old millennial, right? Well, I think he's younger than a millennial. He probably needs him a TikTok and a Snapchat strategy. I don't. So my preferred platforms are Facebook. Actually, on Facebook, 78% of my audience is female. Instagram, 73%. LinkedIn, because I work for banks, title companies, and real estate associations. I could honestly get away with those 3 platforms. Now, when I said non-Facebook, Facebook owns Instagram. So you need one outside, because if that one goes down, what are you going to do? So I believe you should be very vested in one platform, but keep in mind it could go down. So you need to have something else that you know and understand. But stop just picking up the hottest things. I've been doing my own little study. Pull out another little sheet over here for you. Clubhouse.
Oh, that was my next question. You're thinking we're on the same wavelength.
I'm not sold on Clubhouse yet. Okay, I'm over on Clubhouse, but I'm not sold on it. I have seen some growth in my Instagram, but not at a faster rate that I was seeing anyway. And I have grown by followers. Okay, I have not seen it translate based on the time vested the way that I think it should. What I think is a good place for some people want to be heard who don't like video, and it's allowing them to be heard. I understand the difference, and I don't have fear of missing out. I've been at home since Friday, March the 13th, and I have not been kicking it. I prefer to stay in the house and know and look, I tell people we can't have no company. All right. So the whole fear of missing out, I'm past that point in life. I need to know, how does this translate?
Right.
And unless I get it to translate, because I got my little Clubhouse. Let me move my thing. Clubhouse numbers. These were the numbers before Clubhouse. Okay. So I'm at 12,200 now on Instagram and like 5 something on Clubhouse. But I haven't been able to say, oh, this is directly correlated. Until I get to that point, I'm not sold on it. Now, let me tell you what the benefit is. I could put my iPad right here. I could work all day and I could be on Clubhouse. So I think maybe people are multitasking. A lot of real estate agents, so they can hear through your show. There's no privacy in a social network, period. And that includes Clubhouse. I can easily have another device recording somewhere that conversation. Real estate professionals need to understand license law and the Realtors Code of Ethics apply at all times. I am seeing, I don't even know what word, ratchet. Let's go ratchet.
Yeah.
The most ratchet activity when people don't think people can record them. That would be a lie. TT Marki is telling y'all that is a lie. There's always a way to record you. Be the person your most valuable client believes who you are.
That's true.
So,
Marki, I have not joined Clubhouse. I've been given 27 invitations to join, but my thought process is that I'm going to stick to what I'm doing and stay focused, and I don't need any more distractions. There's enough distractions. I have this, so I figured I'm going to focus on something, because I'm not going to help. I don't want to help grow that, right? Like, I have to focus on my content, because our superpower is our focus. You can do anything you want. You just can't do everything. So you got to pick and choose. And so I'm picking and choosing to stay off unless somebody can convince me otherwise. That's why I wanted to ask you that question. And I'm
not going to convince you, because the verdict is still out. And I said I was giving it a good 30-day try to be consistent, which for me is once a week. And so I'm like, and people are talking about it. I have not seen them quantify it for me. Like, okay, it's great to have the social media growth. I want to know, how does that translate to dollars? If it does not translate to dollars, then I could show you how I could do a Facebook Live video and I can have ad leads. Because, see, I'm all about this 2,880 contacts. So if you can tell me how Clubhouse is going to aid me in getting the 2,880 contacts into the customer relationship management system, then I'd be willing to take a look at it. But right now, I want to vet it and see if it works or not. And if it doesn't work, then I'm okay with not using it. I got a podcast. And here's what's funny. Facebook and all the other platforms are now looking at their own version of Clubhouse. I don't use TikTok because my intentions are to be better at Reels, because I already have an Instagram audience. I'm not sold on Clubhouse. But if Facebook claim with a version of Clubhouse, I would likely use it because I understand my Facebook audience.
And that takes time to figure that out. That is not a overnight success thing whatsoever. We're still figuring out that algorithm. I don't know if you have an answer to this question, but I have an issue with the special audience. I've not been able to get past the special ad category.
And so let me say this, I don't, because remember, I haven't placed an ad since November of 2019. And I did place more ads before the special ad category, only due to the fact that it was easier to place an ad. Now, if you essentially don't do your ads on your desktop, you won't even see that opt-in, which then means your ads aren't running. And I tend to market to real estate professionals, not that I am selling real estate. So my ads were being flagged for the special ad category when it wasn't a for sale property. So let me say this, you're having a common problem. I'm in the process.
The thing, because I'm looking to grow our company and bring in agents so we can train and teach them and provide them to, be able to make that 6-figure income. And I want to reach more people that are out there that maybe are struggling, that maybe they're getting their license, are already been licensed, and they, an independent agent today it's a tough thing without mentorship. It really is. That it is it's a major struggle. And so we operate as a team here. And I wanted to have these ads in front of people, let them know that, hey, I want to help you. I want to help you build your business because I've done it. I already know how to make 7+ figures in this industry. I want to teach you how to make 6 or 7, whatever it is that you want. And we cannot get past this damn special ad category. It's not even like we're not selling houses. We are selling houses, but we're not advertising that. It's what
I meet with we have an ad specialist in our private with the Danielle Leslie, because here's what's interesting. She made $10 million, and this is going to sound crazy, but once it sits with you, I kind of get it. She spent over $3 million on Facebook ads, but she owns her intellectual property. So if I was to go back and look at the restaurant business, you could do $1 million, but instantly 30% is food costs, 17% is going to be labor costs. Then you have your rent. So technically, she's netting more money, but she says she's not a very big people person. Where for me, I would go and do an event and then book people out of the event. So we have an ad specialist. I'll ask the ad specialist because I'm scheduled to start running Facebook ads in about the next 3 weeks, because I'm doing live webinars. And in order to get people to the webinars, I need to do the Facebook ads.
Sure.
But it's real estate. It's all about real estate. Yes.
Yeah, let me know. That would be fantastic.
I'm glad you asked.
That's great. So Marki, there's going to be a lot of agents that are going to see this broadcast or hear this podcast. And so what are 5 things that an agent can do that don't cost any money, that that they can, it's an easy thing for them to be able to get themselves started with building their content?
I'm going to give you 5 things. All of them are free. Every last one of them is free. They need to go over to answerthepublic.com. When you go to Answer the Public, it's going to give you a list of topics you can talk about every single day. I believe that you should take one topic and break it out. So a topic might be how to buy a house. Now, mind you, they're sourcing this. So this is the questions that the internet is asking. And in order to build authority, you need to solve buyer and seller's problems. So how to buy a house. I don't want to just do how to buy a house. I want to do how to buy a house in Bronzeville or how to buy a house in Hyde Park. So you take that and you think about your community, your zip code, or how people search where you are. Mm-hmm. The next one is the biggest obstacles to buying a house, or the biggest obstacles to buying a house, no money down, or the top 3 tips for buying a house in Chicago. So now you can take that one question and turn it into 5. You can pivot one question, a minimum of 5 different ways, minimum. So answerthepublic.com. The next one is going to be wave.video/calendar. It tells you what every single day of the year is. So inside of my private membership group, we've already celebrated Own a Home Day, National Home Warranty Day, and Read Across America Day. And we talked about real estate books and things that help you in real estate in that Read Across America. So it'll tell you what every single day of the year is.
Oh, what is that? Wave?
Oh, wave.video/calendar. Okay.
I've heard of that one.
The next thing, Canva. Inside of Canva, one, you can get the free account. Honestly, I'm thinking you might want to invest in more, but a lot of people don't know that Canva has multiple standalone pages that are not a part of the app. So you got Canva graphs, you got Canva color wheel that will help you with whatever color you put in there. It'll tell you if you decided to go monochromatic, if you decided to go with complementary colors. It gives you like these 6 options to the color wheel to pair your color perfectly. The next one, remove.bg. So inside of the paid version of Canva, you can remove the background. You cannot do so in the free version. So you want to add remove.bg because it will remove the background of any picture, and you can place yourself however your heart desires, wherever you want to go. And I need to give you one more. What would be the next one? InShot. InShot. InShot is a tool that you can use to take all of your old horizontal videos and put them into a vertical video frame so that you could put these videos on your stories and on IGTV. So to sum that up, you need to know what people are searching for so that you can talk to them the way that they are searching. You need to identify holidays that are important to your sphere of influence so that you can celebrate those holidays with them. And then you need to create content using Canva, InShot, remove.ig, and you should post something at least once a day. I would prefer if it was a 60-second video. Nothing I just said will cost you 1 penny. That's that list. You're going to put that 5 on it, Lord.
That's a strong list. That is a very strong list. Agents can do that and get that set up this weekend, right?
You can do it this weekend. It's all free. And here's the thing. I understand that we want instant success and gratification. You don't know the tools. And so you have to learn the tools. That means that it might not be right the first time. Be gentle with yourself. And yeah, my stuff looks a certain way. I've been doing, I have a master's degree in business. Okay. That means marketing was my focus. I've been marketing now for 30 some years. Practice is what got me to today. So do not expect your stuff to look like my stuff or your consistency to be like my consistency. I have decades of doing this. And so the more you do it, I have a cousin, he tells me, well, it will only take you 10 minutes. It takes me 10 minutes after 20 years. You're absolutely right. It could only take me 10 minutes. But I want people to think about all the sacrifices to learn the tools, how to put them together. That took years. Today it is 10 minutes. But I need you to think about the foundational work that went in. It all requires foundational work.
It's a good thing that you brought up that this is not going to be an overnight success. Agents should expect, or anybody watching this in business should expect to continue to do this for a long time before they might see anything, right?
Yeah. And consistency is key. So we joke about it, but there are people who come over, they have a major win. They want to come to Facebook so that Facebook can cheer them on, but they've been missing in action for a year. Go on somewhere. And you get to do it maybe once or twice. And then Facebook takes heed to that's what you do. It reduces your visibility. And because you have never come from contribution, people not embracing your wins. And so now you feel like people are hating on you. No, they're not hating on you. They see you for who you are. They're not hating on you. They understand that you don't come from contribution. It's all about you, and you've been missing in action for a full year. The algorithm the algorithm is going to reduce the visibility. So maybe your friends might want to celebrate you, but the algorithm is like, here come once a year. Here come once a year to try to set things off who haven't come from contribution. They will shut your little stuff. I'm not going to say shut it down. They will reduce the visibility of your post.
So what do you think about what do you think a business person or whatever, anybody basically who wants to grow their following should be, not what they should be posting, but outside of that 1 minute of video per day, 60 seconds, how many other times a day should they post?
Well, I believe that they should allocate 1 hour to their calendar per day for social media and technology. And that should start with listening. So one thing, I just took down a stack of cards. Where did I put that list of cards? So to kind of give you an idea, and a lot of people do a good job of this. So these are like all the cards, and I bought the Christian Planner last year that people send me. So almost all these pages have cards. So this is last year's book. This is this year's book. So people are listening. This stack just came in the other day, right? Congratulations cards. I hadn't been to the office. The office put off my stuff in envelopes and they sent it to me. The cutest card came from my boy Frankie, and I didn't get the card until the other day. People are listening, right? And they are sending you nice handwritten notes. Light is off. Nice handwritten notes. Listen, see what's going on. Social media is a free list. It's actually the best listening tool of all times. And Facebook has collected 52,000 attributes on every last one of its members, and it's about 2.6 million of them. So you go and you listen. You send your handwritten notes. You come up with something creative. I just came up with a grid the other day that I'm working on. It's called what is this called? Oh, 6 and 12 for the 6 and 12 group. And in the 6 and 12 that I came up with a grid. And I wanted to say 6 actions that you could take in 12 minutes to connect with your sphere of influence every single day. And in this 6 and 12 grid, which I'm not finding a grid, so I'm going to just tell you, is the fact that I use a tool called PhotoLab. PhotoLab creates a caricature of a person. So on their birthday, you download the picture of them on their birthday, whatever picture they put up. You put it into the character app, and then you send them back that character-like creation of themselves. Every person that I've done that for, they have actually posted it. So little free tools that you just take to highlight that person every single day. So we're going to listen. We're going to create something of value to give to people. And then you post. And I had a Facebook Live video been viewed 50,000 times, raised over $50,000. That is not just because of the video. It is because of a sense of connection from all the years of posting. That's 2020 showed me the true value. That if you're consistent, this is what you can reap in a very short period of time. And the stuff that I was doing before, I mean, I didn't know we were going to have a pandemic and social unrest in the country, and that I would come and ask for money to help save. Like I wasn't doing it for that purpose. But when I came and I asked, people took action.
Because you come from contribution on a daily and for many, 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 many years.
Exactly.
So
but these one-hit wonders who just popping up.
Success.
Yeah. People, the one-hit wonders who just pop up out of nowhere. People can see you. We see you. I just need people to know, because they do it. I have a couple of girlfriends, they break up with a boyfriend. Here they come. We see you. and start laughing. And I'm the divorce predictor because I listen. And there's a trifecta post when a woman is preparing herself to leave. She's going to post motivational quotes every single day. She is going to get her a gym membership, and you are going to see her work out consistently. And then her spirituality changes. Her and her God develop a newfound relationship. When you see those 3 things, she leaving. She getting herself mentally and physically prepared to go. And every time I've pointed it out to my husband, they've left. Wow. And I tell them sometime a year in advance. I said, so-and-so preparing to leave. Marky, how you know? Come on, babe. Take a look at this. And he looked. And that's why I am strategic. I post about my husband about every 6 weeks. The reason is, one, I don't want you to believe that my husband is the be all, like the woman who can't live without a man, right? And there are women that people think that about. But at the 6 week mark, they ain't seen him enough. So now they question if it's problems in paradise. And let me go and throw a Stephen post out here. Because my husband's not on Facebook. He thinks it's the work of the devil. And so I'm strategic because I was able to tell someone, I said, she says, I don't know if you know this, but my husband and I are separated. I said, oh, I know. I said, I've known for a year. She looked at me. I said, I don't want you to think the sorority sisters are talking about you. I said, I don't know if you realize you used to post about your husband all the time. You've not said one thing about him in the past year. And she stood there and you could see her eyes were rolling. So she was pondering the thought, right? I said, not once. And she says, you're right. I said, you told Facebook you and your husband had problems without telling them. It's called psychology.
True.
And I remember that class in undergrad. So some of my posting is strategic. And me posting my husband is definitely one of those things, because I'll get an inbox message from an ex-boyfriend and it'll be, how is married life going? Clearly, I have not posted about Stephen. Let me dust off a picture and post it about Stephen.
Oh my gosh. Marki, this has been an amazing time with you this morning.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me.
The energy that you have and you're just, I don't know, you bring it. I love it. And I love the authenticity. And you're super duper smart, and just, I admire you a lot. And I thank you for taking the time today to share with our guest and with me. And I look forward to seeing you like in real person sometime soon. I'm headed out starting in May. Like, I'm getting on the jet plane and I'm going places.
I'm heading out in June. So I wasn't going to get the vaccine, but my husband and I both are COVID survivors. I've had numerous friends who've passed away. I have a realtor friend right now who has COVID pneumonia and brain fog, and just, living through these people online, seeing the challenges that they have. And so we are getting our first shot on Tuesday. I wasn't going to get it, but I got, let me see, it's been about 6 weeks now since I had it. So, yep, I'll be back out in June. I'm not spending another summer, even though I've enjoyed my time here and I've made the best of that time. I'm not spending another summer in the house. And so I will be maxed up, vaccinated, ready this summer. And look, you can just put the mask. I have a big old suntan from here down to here, but this is going to be me this summer out enjoying myself.
That's right. Like you missed Barcelona. I missed my 50th trip to Greece and Italy. So I'm going to be making up for it this year in some way, shape, or form. And looking forward to, I say it's like the COVID dim light. So as it's a dim light right now, but every day the light gets a little bit brighter. And then all of a sudden the light will all be on. So we got to crush it and keep rolling. Thank you for everything.
Thank you. I appreciate you for having me. And I will see you. And look, we're going to jet somewhere and I'm going to see you out here in these streets.
That's right. I'll see you soon. Keep on being the solution, Marki.
I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.